The Supreme Court sidestepped the issue of whether the Trump administration can end birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. from non-citizen parents. But the court ruled federal judges who issue nationwide injunctions blocking presidential orders are overstepping their authority. Erica Brown joins us now live from the White House. Erica.
Next week. Well, Lauren, this Supreme Court ruling clears some of the roadblocks to President Trump's agenda. It is a legal victory for the president's executive powers as he pushes to implement his policies through a series of executive orders.
Well, this was a big one, wasn't it?
President Trump praised the Supreme Court ruling that limits the ability of federal judges to issue nationwide injunctions blocking presidential orders.
This is really also a decision based on common sense.
The High Court sided with the Trump administration in a 6-3 decision, split along ideological lines. Justice Amy Coney Barrett, writing the majority opinion, said, quote, universal injunctions likely exceeded the equitable authority that Congress has given to federal courts.
It was a grave threat to democracy, frankly, and instead of merely ruling on the immediate cases before them, these judges have attempted to dictate the law for the entire nation.
Writing the dissenting opinion, Justice Sonia Sotomayor said no right is safe in the new legal regime the court creates. Many of President Trump's executive orders have been halted with these nationwide injunctions issued by federal judges. But now the president says his administration will move forward implementing those orders,
including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them.
The Supreme Court's ruling did not address the constitutionality of the president's move to limit birthright citizenship. The Attorney General said she expects that issue to reach the justices this fall.
Now, the Supreme Court has laid out a 30-day window before this ruling will take effect, during which some immigration rights groups are expected to file class action lawsuits to try to challenge the president's birthright citizenship order. Reporting from the White House, Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
All right, Erica, thank you so much. Farrell is a professor of constitutional law at the University of Colorado. Professor Farrell, thank you so much for taking a little time with us today.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, to explain a little bit more and to dive a little deeper into this. So how does today's ruling by the High Court in the birthright citizenship case impact or affect Colorado and Coloradans?
Yeah, it's a great question. And in order to address that, as you said, we have to go a little bit deeper and understand how this decision relates to the rest of the birthright citizenship case. And so the way to think about this is that a number of individuals, organisations and states challenged the executive order ending birthright citizenship in some situations in 3 different district courts.
Okay.
And obviously, as everybody knows, resolving these decisions or these issues takes a lot of time. And so often the first order of business is to decide, well, what do we do in the meantime? Do we allow the executive order to go into effect, or do we stop it while this is making its way through the court system?
And that's what's taken place, correct?
Exactly. So all 3 of the federal district courts in Massachusetts, Maryland and Washington State issued injunctions saying, while we're sorting this out, the executive order can't go into effect. The crucial point here, and what the Supreme Court is addressing or addressed today, was that the injunctions didn't just apply to the parties, nor did they just apply to the jurisdictions of those courts. Instead, they issued what are referred to as either nationwide or universal injunctions, saying nobody anywhere, the government cannot enforce this executive order against anyone anywhere in the country.
Okay.
And so that part of the stay was challenged. So the government wanted kind of a stay of that part of the stay and were arguing that it should only apply to the individual plaintiffs. Okay. And the court largely today agreed with the government. They said that it is likely that having nationwide injunctions goes beyond the power of the federal courts, at least with respect to the individual plaintiffs. So with regard to individual people, their remedy is achieved without having a broader injunction. The same goes for various organisations. However, the court did not ultimately answer whether or not, when there are states who are plaintiffs, that whether they need nationwide injunctions. So that's now been sent back down to the district courts to decide whether more limited relief is suitable in those cases.
So this is really just the very first step in a very long, as you mentioned, lengthy process. So people don't have to be fearful right now in this process, because it's just starting.
That's right. So people in Colorado right now, first of all, the order doesn't go into effect for 30 days. And secondly, it may be that the district court in Massachusetts, which is where Colorado was one of the parties, it may be that they say, yeah, when there are states that are parties, a nationwide injunction is relevant, or at least more than just the narrower injunction is relevant. Even that would then be a situation where that decision would only apply up to when the merits of the birthright citizenship underlying argument are addressed.
Okay. Let's talk about the 14th Amendment. It'll be reviewing the meaning of the 14th Amendment. Why is that up for debate now?
Yeah, that's a really great question. The vast majority of legal scholars say that this is the meaning of the 14th Amendment, the citizenship clause, is incredibly clear, right? That it applies to anyone who is born in the country, with a few very, very limited exceptions. The reason why this is now being reconsidered, at least by the Trump administration, I think there are a number of different reasons. One, there is an increase in anti-immigrant sentiment over the last few years. We've seen that, for instance, just the last few days in the reaction to the result of the New York mayoral Democratic primary, where some on the right have come out and said, we have to stop all immigration, not just illegal, but legal immigration. So that's one part of it. That has come at the same time that we have a president who, at least I think it's fair to say, seems that he feels less constrained by the way that things have been done in the past. And we also have a Supreme Court which, with its current membership, has indicated a willingness to deviate from previous norms, previous rules, and previous precedents. So the three of those things together, I think, have resulted in this.
All right, Professor, thank you so much for coming in and giving us a little insight to how this whole process will move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.